We don't have a break right now. We're not going anywhere. Instead, what we thought we'd do is dip into our social media questions while we're waiting for the players to come back and get ready for game number 2. Thank you very much for all the questions, as ever. This one is what real-life location would make a great CSGO map. Please, please, please do not kill your career.
Here's the thing. A bunch of real-life locations are CSGO maps. So we're going to see Nuke later on today.
Yes.
Coming up right now. That was in Chernobyl, in Ukraine.
Was, which did blow up, unfortunately.
Yeah. In fact, here's a little story for you, Red Eye. Okay, so someone from Ukraine who's involved in esports, I won't say who it is because obviously I'm going to make fun of him in the story. He comes up to me one time and he goes, this map is Chernobyl. It's from Ukraine. And I'm like, yeah. Obviously they based it because it's a nuclear power plant. I mean, I know now they've changed it to being like America or something. And he was saying, like, it makes no sense, though. And I was like, what, you mean? Because, like, obviously, no one would go to that area. It's radioactive. He goes, no, it's Cash, actually, is Ukraine. I got that the wrong way around, but it's Cash, okay. He goes, this truck in Spawn? And I was like, yeah. He goes, this is American truck. Would not be there. He says, I tried contact Valve. They don't change it. He goes, this is American truck? And now I'm going,
really good.
That is a very unusual observation to make, actually. So in that case, I guess Valve are the ones who need to think about which real-life location and put some larder in there or something. I don't know. Make it accurate. Make it realistic.
I mean, I hate... Okay. I mean, because we've had a lot of rough stuff happen recently, so it's very difficult to kind of like
the city's coming to my mind. It's like
because I was thinking like London is it's very, you look at it and it's amazing, it's got this incredible architecture, but then with what's happened recently, you'd be like,
I've got
that's
an idea
very
for
insensitive.
And this is, no one's going to be worried about this. This is a good idea. Okay, so which real life location? I would make it a moon base.
Right. Okay.
So there's windows that show space and stuff. It's a base inside you. You don't have to have space suit on.
What happens if you shoot the windows though? And
sucks everyone out.
So you have to be super accurate.
Exactly, yeah. There's one area where you can shoot.
Right.
or it turns into like Scout Knives. He's got anti-gravity and everyone can start bouncing around. And
See, once you put the idea out there, it gets better and better.
It does get better, yeah. Maybe one on Mars.
Maybe have a lunar rover.
Lunar rovers, see, we
can we're getting somewhere.
There we go. This is good. This is a good idea.
Yeah, these are brilliant. I would. True story, right? I was with Warclown back in May. Rip Warclown. He amazingly is going to get married and then having a.
That's not the end of the sentence.
No. It gets better. Trust me. And then his honeymoon. Is in Santorini.
Oh, lots of people have done that actually recently.
Yeah, and it's actually a map. FMP1 made that map, right?
The problem is, though, since they've reskinned it, the iconic T-Spawn, where that was originally looks like, that doesn't actually look like that anymore. No. So it's quite cool. He was a Source player, right? So you can remember, I used to play on this Inferno, but like right now it kind of takes the magic away and they reskinned it. But still, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Not going to take anything away from it. It's really, I've seen pictures of people there before. It does look like a nice location. Where is it? Italy, right?
Greece.
Greece.
Yeah, it's a Greek island, I think. Or
there you go.
Something like that.
Should have had his...
My geography's not...
If he was really hardcore, he just had his honeymoon in Ice World. There we go.
I'm not sure if we were very good at answering your questions, but we've gone with Moonbase. That's what we've gone with.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Just be safe, because hopefully they can't get there and do bad things.
They'll need some pretty good technology to get up there.
I think
if they get up there, I think we're all in trouble at that point. So if they've got access to space,
that
would be
probably bad indeed. So we're gonna move on and take another social media question.
Next one. Moving on.
Do you think a full Norwegian lineup would be possible?
That's a silly question.
We sort of talked about this earlier.
You can put 5 Norwegian players in this. It doesn't just blow up instantly. Whether it be good.
I think that the really legendary 1.6 names of the Norwegian scenes there, definitely, you got some of the most iconic Counter-Strike names of all time there. But in CSGO, they certainly haven't ever had 5 together that's really made any sort of impact. Obviously, the names that come to mind, you've got Rain, obviously we've got Jacob here as well.
Three in Dignitas right now.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's the problem, though. Croman's still unproven.
I'm not aware of him.
Yeah. He's a bit unproven still.
Yeah, they've always had a bunch of talent there, but in terms of, I think we've had probably one all Norwegian lineup in CSGO so far. Was that the one that went to Copenhagen Wolves of DreamHack London, was that?
No, we had, Copenhagen Wolves just had Jacob. We had a couple.
Wasn't it London Conspiracy?
We had London Conspiracy.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
And then we had, there was LGB for a time.
Yeah.
These were both like Rubino lineups,
Yeah.
So the problem is, when they had those lineups in the past, that was before Rain really blossomed into what he is now. The key thing is now, you'd need Rain now, so you need to buy him up from FaZe somehow, which, I mean, that's going to be tough.
That's going to be a very tough.
Then you need Rubino to actually show he's going to be a good in-game leader, because we need a good in-game leader. That's one thing they always lacked for. and then you probably need Jacob to get back some form. So here's the thing, you could sort of do it, but there's a lot of ifs there, I think.
So
the question is, why would you want to do that now in this? Because we're moving. It feels like, I mean, Dota had this a couple of years ago where the teams did start going outside of their countries to form multinational, and now it's pretty de rigueur in Dota too. It's like almost every team is now multi-international, right? And we're starting to see that now in CS as well. So why would you go back?
It's just not required, right? Like players like Rain, they're finding tremendous success in international teams. He's not going to be thinking, oh, I wish I could make a Norwegian one. I'd just be self-indulgent at that point, wouldn't it? There's no real reason to make it. So to answer the question, I guess, no, right now it's not really possible. At least a top team probably doesn't make sense for these particular players. Only about 5 or 6 players you consider for a top team, and they're all on their separate projects.
I think the harder question is how would we make a UK super team?
Oh, let's not go there. We'll have to get the
First of
diagrams
all,
out, the time machine.
But you've got to also be able to pay more than the day rates for casters. Now that's a tough kind of. There we go. See, I threw in the.
I think you found the right tone for this conversation.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's squeeze in one more question if we can, before we head back into the game. You can see the players have returned, but not quite ready yet. Thoughts on the new Mouse Sports playstyle?
Sorry, vague question, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing, actually. You know, if you notice, I often
noticed who it's from, by the way.
Okay, yeah. I often analyse teams, Henry, based on the concept of tempo, right?
Okay.
So the thing about the old Mouse Sports lineup that I didn't like is too speedy. You know, I like the new style they've got. You know,
he's got 'em.
Now they're very stable. You know, they know what they're doing. You know.
Yeah, that's great. I guess I'm not going to comment too much on the play style. I haven't watched it too much, but I like them as
broken.
I love the fact that they're coming together as a team, and like I think the addition of Rob, I think that's super exciting. I think he's fantastic. I think he's one of the best pickups we've had in the last 2 years. I think.
Do you think they're a better team now? And I emphasise that.
Yes, absolutely.
With Nico gone.
Yeah, I think that
less emphasis. They haven't got to worry about this star thing and building
they've brought
around
in sufficient star power now with the likes of him. Someone who's willing to learn, hungry to be in this sort of team. He seems to be gelling fantastic. He's getting better and better every event he goes to. Dennis has actually got much better since he's lost Nico. Who that's such an intimidating character to be playing with, right? Yeah. Someone who is. You're getting critiqued on, say, carrying the team continuously. He seems to get angry every time you die. Now he feels like with these team, he can make more decisions. He go for duels and actually show he can compete at this level. And Dennis might not be a world-class player, but he's got a lot better since this team's come together.
All right, thank you very much, both of you. I'd love to chat more, and we could do a whole day of this, I'm sure we could. But it's time to get back into our second game, so let's hand you back over to our commentary team for game number 2.
Yeah, game 2, which we go on to nuke LDLC, are going to have to be almost perfect to get anything rolling against Dignitas. If they fail any outside smokes, they're going to get blasted based on the skill which we saw in the last game. If they struggle on their CT side to win duels, Dignitas is going to run them down. So it is pressure on them, in my opinion, very much so in this game, Harry.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Dignitas did look good. LDLC were looking a little bit disjointed. I think, you know, based on their individual skill and what we just saw in the last one, they could potentially try and take nuke off of LDLC, in spite of how good LDLC have looked on it. But I think, yeah, I mean, either way, I think it's just going to come down to, I mean, it's quite even, in all honesty, heading in towards this one. I think on an individual basis, Dignitas did impress. Just going to have to see if they do Dignitas this one away. Well, LDC, if they do. That was terrible. I tried to figure out a way to connect it.
Nah, it's fine. Sometimes they don't all work.
Yeah.
You just got to let it go. Let it run free.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And
yeah, I miss 100% of the shots that I do take, but I don't really talk about it. I just let it go. Sometimes I just don't play the game. That's why I don't play show matches anymore.
Yeah,
Henry's a very competitive person. If I make mistakes, he yells at me until I cry. He's a bully.
I could actually see that being real. And I mean,
I heard single-handedly that amount of competitiveness is the reason why younger UK players didn't want to play the game. They were scared of Henry. So in some ways, he's single-handedly responsible for the death of the UK scene.
I mean, ever since he shaved his head as well, it's made him that much more intimidating. I don't know if that's just an impression that I've got. But I mean,
probably true.
Yeah, he just you know, he is a scary, especially when it comes to CS. I can't imagine what that must have been like for you, especially, you know, your soft kind of Canadian sensibilities going into that.
I'm the least Canadian ever.
I don't know.
In terms of friendliness,
you had hockey up on the screen earlier. Oh, okay, yeah, right. You mean okay in terms of friendliness?
Yeah,
right.
no, I'm a bit of a dick. It's fine. You work through it.
Yeah, it's all good. We're breezing on through anyway, being nice and truthful. But yeah, I mean, heading into nuke, I think Dignitas did play well just then on cash. They did look to be really, you know, kind of well oiled. We saw them looking great. And it's going to be a bit of a repeat, really, of the first map we saw them in versus LDLC, just kind of a complete whitewash for Dignitas. Now they're heading into Nuke. Of course, it's a great map for LDLC. It's one that we've seen them have a lot of success on, both in the qualifiers and in the games today. I feel like, in all honesty, we are going to see 3 maps. I don't see LDLC throwing this one away in particular. But it's going to be tight. I mean, do you think, based on individual performances, we could see Dignitas take this? Because it's not like they're bad. Well, they're not good at Nuke. That's a lie. They're not good at Nuke.
I mean, I don't know what to expect. I mean, they're clearly not really an execution-based team on the Dignitas side. All the games that they've played today that they've had good success on it, they've been very about force, about speed, about pace.
Yeah.
The good news is, it's kind of like Thorne said, they have that ability where they have enough firepower that they can sort of rely on force buys and using off weaponry, which gives them more of a chance in the current climate in CSGO to pick up rounds where obviously LDLC is struggling to do so, and hence why it relies so much on execution. That's why I say they have to be perfect on this map. They have to make sure that they aren't leaving gaps, they aren't walking into crossfire positions without isolating the CTs. They really are working as a unit. So if one cylinder in the engine's not firing, you're going to be significantly down on power in that sense. So yeah, it is their map pick. They did just beat iGame on it, and iGame seems to be quite a well-oiled unit in that sense, that they're actually another team that doesn't have anyone with individual firepower. They played very well, don't get me wrong, but they're more of a team-based game. So if they played like they did in the last map, no chance. If they played like they did against iGame, there is a chance.
It's a hard question to answer, and I guess we're finally going to get that answer now as the pissed round already underway. Charging in towards ramp, leaving us no time to spare. It's going to be LDLC, but Tensky goes ahead and drops one out the equation. Rubino already rotating in, but in the meantime, LDLC have ducked down in towards the B-bomb site. 4 players converging on this location. They actually opt to leave existence to try and lurk up behind, try and come in from A late. Foxbox out in the bomb plant. They're going to actually buy some time here for the rotate to come through, but Jacob has gone down in the meantime to give LDLC this one-man advantage.
Another fast play to lower. They did the same thing in the last game against iGame, which Henry was quite pleased with. Fox is going to try and do what he can. Closes off the door toward control. They'll have to reopen that. That'll create noise trigger. Not on it just yet, but they will, and Fox knows they went at the control door. They're likely to be a decontamination. He's right, but the timing is perfect, and Miss 2 gets them both. I'd love to see that from his perspective. Coleman now's the one to stand basically in the open and just wait to be killed, which he was. Maniac's got it. LDLC go up 1-0.
Yeah, we're grabbing that pistol over on the T side. Could be worth its weight in gold to try and give them that 3-round advantage early on. On the T side, those 3 rounds could be worth so much. Otherwise you have to try and find really at least 5 solely in the rifle. So this is going to be the exact start LDLC wanted. Bit of a chance for them to try and slow down the momentum that Dignitas have as well heading into this from that previous map. Will be the force spy coming on in though for Dignitas. LDLC going to have some UMPs to try and work with them, along with 3 AKs to try and take these long-range engagements, seeing as they have got 3 rifles already. Sending 3 players outside as they look to try and grab control here early on. Pushing on out, Maniac able to find the first. Rubino and Fox both go down. They do manage to trade things out. Croman going to be outside, but he's just bird watching. Ends up watching these guys as they go on and cross, and then falls, leaving this on Jacob and Tensky.
Tensky's got all the way back around to Hell. Unfortunately, that's a very tough position to try and regain going up the ladder. So yeah, back toward CT, trying to open up through the door. Spot someone's head in the open. Jacob down to 9 HP. Round's going to be done. Make it costly, boys. Small victories. Tensky is very patient in his play style, isn't he? I would have just said, forget it, I'm rushing the ladder. Someone would have knifed me when I got to the top or something stupid. And it would be all my fault.
I think that's one of the reasons why you don't get asked to do some of these show matches.
Listen, calm down now, Harry.
Okay.
You don't know me.
That is true. I do a little bit, but it's not that well. Tensky. I've expected to see about 3 seconds in this scenario, and there we go. Actually, underwhelming. That was really 1 second. Alex able to mop him up. LDLC in with a round number 2. Dignitas, no money into this one. They do just have to kind of grit their teeth and bear it. Croman and Tensky can buy up some PT-50s, but really wants that in the face of all these rifles. Also, Maniac and Alex, the 2 Mac daddies of LDLC, they're going to try and make some cash with the one-and-done SMG over on the T side. And well, for Dig, they're going to be sending 1 player outside. That is going to be Jacob. not faring his odds too highly as Tuano currently resides here. Look at this push in from ramp, coming on from behind. They're going to try and catch these guys off guard. But oh, they get put through the meat grinder. Misto, the butcher, goes ahead and shuts them down. This round, just a disaster. Dignitas, they try and take a gamble and it doesn't pay out because Misto counters that perfectly.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do? They've got no guns. They've got no utility. You might as well just try it. Hail Mary play. Get it over with. Get to the gun round. If you get some kills, great. If not, no big loss. You're not expected to win that round. So now that that's out of the way, just a formality, really. They get onto the gun round. And in the gun round, they won't have an AWP. So it's going to be all rifles. Again, Maniac. I shouldn't say again. It's actually more been Rubino on the Dignitas side. But again, we will have a MAC-10 in a gun round. So questionable. It's not the MP9, Harry. I'm not sure if you agree with it this time.
No, I don't agree with that. I think the MAC-10's useless. But MP9 best, you see? See how that kind of stacks
James
up?
Bardolph likes the MAC-10. You don't want to mess with James.
That is true.
He's yet to frag, but he might frag you.
I could be the
Do
first.
not want to be his first frag. Croman, wide angle at the box, able to control the system as Rubino. Look at this, now that they've got guns out, able to win all the choke point battles. The duels entirely go the way of Dignitas, and this is the problem. LDLC can't fall into this. I don't mind if they play slow, but play strategic. And walking in through the door without ample smokes to try and go down the vents, there's really no chance that you can throw those curveballs and say, well, let's just feel them out. You've got to play every round to try and isolate. But there is an AWP this time, so maybe they will try and search a little bit more for the outside position. Tuanu's the one that's with it.
Yeah, no op for Dignitas just yet to try and counteract this one. We are going to be seeing Op making its way towards outside, going to be on the back of Tuano. He's actually just going to go pushing on up. Takes this very aggressively with the AWP in hand. Usually we kind of see a rifler opt to go for this very aggressive play out towards red. Fox goes in for the peek. He wants the AWP. He's going to go ahead and get it if he can make his way over, but no, Existence will be there to trade things back. It's going to be a 4-on-4. And
Am I right in saying that flash came from his teammate?
Yeah.
That's really poor timing. So those are the mistakes they can't make. And then Maniac in the open, good read from Tensky to go back to ramp without the information. Checks it, gets it. But that's exactly the mistakes they cannot afford to make.
And now it all falls onto Alex and Misto. And Alex actually working himself into a good position over here towards Heaven. Could cause some damage. Wants the player out on top of Hart. That spray. Very English of him. Jacob. He goes down as well into the 2-on-2. Bomb plot about to come in. Misto only on 8 HP. Really going to be looking at Alex to try and open this one up. Playing it up on top of the rafters. Bomb does go down. Around where really LDLC shouldn't have been able to get much done. Quickly turned on its head, looking like they could try and win this one out. And now, Rubino and Tetsky both coming in waiting. And now they're going to peek on out. Misto within the site going to be Molotoving off Heaven. They don't have any info as to where these players are. Tetsky the first man onto the scene. Alex going to drop him out the equation. Rubino trying to trade things out. Desperately trying to pick this frag up. The peek coming from Misto on the site. That flash is perfect to hold Rubino at bay. He's going to continue his reign of terror in towards the site, but there's very little time left. He's got to be quick if he wants to stay in this one. Going to go ahead and get the first, but Misto, 8 HP in a dream, keeps this one alive for LDLC.
Big round, big recovery as well after losing the outer position. They manage, after Maniac goes down to get the upper site, they've all rotated off of it. Finding just 2 kills on the entry, and they're able to hold off the choke points as well. Good spray down from Alex to hold off the position. Rubino didn't have much information. Still no kills from Tuano after getting that AWP out, so unfortunate for him. Money, it's on the edge of a force for Dignitas, but that would put them into double eco territory if they lose the next. They wouldn't have a ample buy, so probably very likely they just sit, but they've called for the pause to talk about it. AWP again for Tuano, brought back over. They'll throw that to him. Curious as to whether or not they... Yeah, okay, so this I agree with. Leveling out the money at around 2K is the smarter way to do this, because if they lose on the force, they're pretty screwed, Harry, for lack of a better term. They'll be in a hairy situation.
They're going to make their way outside, and actually Fox tries going aggressive. Alex will shut that one down. Now Tuano taking up position once again over here towards red. The push going to come in from Rubino, but that's going to get snuffed out by Misto. Dignitas, they try and take the aggression and they get punished for it at every turn. Now a 2-man advantage taken here for LDLC, and Jacob's actually going to be over towards Secret. Looking to try and come up from behind to deal with Existence outside. Tuano not prepared to let that happen. Goes ahead and watches out for his comrade over towards Garage. Now it's Croman and Tensky. 2v5. Tensky spots out one, but just looks to fade away. This round looking good for LDLC. They're looking to try and keep everyone alive if they can. Continue to build up the cash over on the G side. Tensky peeks on out. Let's go down. Misto able to drop out Croman. All 5 players surviving there for LDLC as they pick themselves up a 5th. Dignitas in with the buy, as they did redistribute the money in that previous round. They won't have an AWP though.
No, and then Dignitas is yet to really establish an economy. Big clutch back on that second gun round because now they have 5 rounds. You already mentioned what 3 rounds can do on Nuke. Means Tuanu continues on with his AWP. He was a lot more cautious that time outside. Made sure he put the Molotov on stairs, limited the threat while he was still peeking and let Existence get forward. He's going to continue to work out her. I'm not opposed to this. Back to Red Crate. He's been here now 3 out of 3 times with the AWP. Misses the shot, but gets it on the reapproach. Good kill on Fox. And that's going to open up so much space. Player on catwalk, player wrapping main. It's looking good, actually. This is starting to encourage me now from LDLC.
Yeah, and they're looking to take this opportunity in their stride. Jacob able to find one, but it is quickly traded out by Misto. They've grabbed themselves the man advantage. Now Alex wrapping in once again from heaven, looking to try and put this A site to bed. Croman, the player to watch out for, up on top of the rafters, just going to be holding the angle. And Alex on the other side, waiting. Misto now looking to try and come in from behind. The peek about to come through. Croman can hear the player up on top of the rafters. Peeking on out, gets the first and the second. They walk in like lambs to the slaughter, just willingly go on towards their deaths, and now it's all Tuano.
Everything was so good getting outside. The flash into heaven was great as well. And then they just rush in expecting everything to be completely fine. 2 players go down, no trade from Existence. Didn't have a second flash to throw in, to be fair, but you've got to at least space it out and be ready for the trades. And just give that round away, in my opinion, to be completely honest with it. Croman didn't even have to move. No one putting pressure on him from anywhere else other than heaven, so that's all too easy. So they have to win out here to continue the money flow, or they're going to be in a real problem. Fox has got the AWP. It's the first time we're going to see it on the Dignitas side, and look at this aggressive play. Exactly what I would have expected from Team Dignitas. I don't think they'll give any room. Whenever they've got money, you expect someone to be in the face of LDLC. Question is, do they expect this? Normally you put smokes down to try and negate it. AK to spray through and take position. Are they going to expect an AWP?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of the off angle right now for Fox, as he has taken it more aggressive. Oh, timing couldn't be worse as he actually falls on back. Spots the player out, goes ahead and takes the first. Has to try and get more work done. Just going to opt to fade away in towards B. He's going to hand ramp over to the side of LDLC, with Tensky rotating around. Oh, Fox just holding the angle. I mean, this play dirty, gets himself a second. The rotate's already coming over here towards B. Existence going to fall as well, leaving this all on Tuano, the lone ramp player for LDLC. 2 players within the site. It's not looking good.
Fox played that so perfectly. So perfectly. Hits the shot, backs off. That's exactly what we want people to do in ramp. We always talk about it. Xipix is probably the best in the world at that, about knowing when to engage, when not to. And then instead of going back in the site, because I was very curious as to how he was going to position the AWP, throws a smoke out that ultimately had no aim to it, wasn't meant to slow them down. All it was to deter them and force them in a little bit further. So the smoke's off to his right, leaves himself a gap, fires in, another shot, and then they're done. No chance. Existence is going on his own, hoping for the best to try and pinch back and take over turnpike position. No one's had to rotate that direction. He goes down to the outside. Round over. And that's exactly what I expect from Dignitas. And not only that, they're going to be dynamic with the AWP. Fox goes outside this time, so more standard. They let the rifles get aggressive. And Tensky, with utility, is going to hold off ramp, get some information that they're towards squeaky door with no smokes. They're trying to take the fights. They're not going to win those fights, especially not against Jacob.
Yeah, no, he's on the triple right now. Tuano and Maniac, all that remain. They want to try and get the rifle, but Jacob's still just pummeling these guys full of lead. Bomb dropped out in the open. It all falls onto Maniac. Oh, that nade, going to eat it. Not looking too great. 16 HP, waiting with bated breath over in the corner, and Squeaky is going to leave the bomb to maintain the illusion that he isn't here. Maniac trying to be the magic man of LDLC. Jacob on standby trying to get the ace. He comes in, and oh, Maniac not prepared to give that satisfaction away. AK's around him, does manage to pick one up. Now he's got the rifle into the 1v3, 16 HP in a dream. And well, Fox looking to try and be the dream killer, holding the angle. Push actually coming in from Tensky as well over towards ramp. Maniac is trapped in this corner. If he tries peeking out, he is going to get shut down.
So low on HP. And watch Nearly Tensky missing or getting caught sleeping, not sure which. Look at that, 5 bodies in Squeaky. Into the choke point with the pistol, sprayed down. Jacob just annihilates them. EWP again for Fox, no surprise. Had to buy that though from Jacob, so it is a costly reinvestment when you consider that Rubino has also spent a good amount of coin. Timeout called from LDLC as well because money good enough for AKs, except for Existence, who only has, it's fine, 2450. Existence is pretty quiet in the kill totals at this point, but they're going to go for the AK-47s, not surprisingly. Tech 9 for Existence, but I expect him to bring up, some smokes utilities this time. This is what I want to see from them. If they don't have utility, I don't expect them to win many rounds. So 5 smokes. They had 4 last time they went toward, or excuse me, 2, I think. Yeah, 2 when they went toward ramp against Fox, which was quite clear they were going to try and take a peak battle. Again, I don't expect them to win those. Smokes down, right call, go aggressive toward outer. Rubino is going to slip in behind this, but how much confidence does he have to slip through the smokes? Obviously, quite a bit. They're on either side of him. This is a tense time for Rubino, and he makes it work for 1. That's a big kill for Miss 2.
Yeah, so good of him to get the trade there. The rest of LDLC have been allowed to slip on by. Over in towards B. Rotation's going to be trickling on through as they wait for everyone on Dignitas to get in a position. Bomb plant still hasn't come in. There's still time left. Only now going down, it's Maniac who could be the linchpin. Going to be waiting up towards the A-bomb site. On the flank, Alex just dispatching a Tensky over there towards ramp, going to make things that much harder. As now, all 3 players trying to retake it from the ramp angle. Jacob over to open things up, gets that return onto Alex. It will be the 3-on-3. Maniac actually going to be locked out the site as well, up towards Vents. No one coming in from A. Does mean that this position is somewhat null and void. Molotov to try and force Twano out of position. And Defuse already coming on in. No one can peek out into it. They might have just bought enough time, and there we go. Dignitas, all they had to do was hop on that bomb and hold E. The Molotov from Jacob was perfect.
So another round. Dignitas, even with the smokes down, Rubino's able to foil and get in early. So the Molotov, very good. It's another timeout. Charged. I didn't get in my ear. I didn't see actually where this one came from when it was called inside of the server. I imagine it's LDLC using another. Because money's still grim for them, but they've got a 4-round loss bonus with a bomb plant, which actually puts them in just about a better situation than they were last time. In fact, they have 4750 on Mistu for a glass cannon. He's actually, to be fair, having an awesome game at 14-4. He leads all fraggers, but I can't imagine them going glass cannon on him given that situation. So I suppose as well, I say glass cannon because he would have to drop it over, but he could just keep the AK himself and throw the gun aside, but he's actually picked up utility and said, give the gun toward Twanu. So they're going to level the money and go for a partial buy with Tech 9s. Expect a fast play out of this.
Yeah, it's looking like 4 players over towards outside. Wall of smokes goes down, something that we're used to seeing, and as is Team Dignitas, going to be pushing on over outside, but look at this. They're allowed to make their way in through Secret, just going to go charging on in, trying to catch Dignitas off guard. Jacob rotating in, able to pick off the first. Actually holds that bomb from making its way into the site. They might have 1 player in there, but bomb not crossing, going to make things that much harder. Jacob actually hopping down to take the duels, drops the bomb out in the open. Things get made that much harder. Existence on the flank, able to drop out Jacob. Tensky goes down over at ramp, so this round actually being turned on its head. The man advantage still up for Dignitas, but they have been locked out the site, at least for the time being. Bomb plant looking to come on through.
Getting Rubino down makes this very interesting, very fast play. I like that. I like that a lot. Finally, they get wall smokes down and actually beat them to it. Fox couldn't do anything about shutting it down. Jacob had a good rotation through vents, but he was even late. They were already in secret, and no one even rotated off of ramp yet, so that's much better. Both stacked up in toxic. Hole in the door. There's no hole there, but there's a bullet that goes through it. Existence goes down, doubling the position. Are they going to expect it, though? Twanu, look at the HP. Fox and Chrome, it's so low. They've got to go together. They've got to trade this. AWP. Fox makes it work. Another round. They're going to go to Dignitas, and that's heartbreaking for LDLC. Full 5 rounds, though, with Bomb Plant. They've got much more money this time. In fact, buy 5 ops if they want. Why not? Let's go for it. I'm in. Are you in? Let's go 5 auto snipers.
I'm on board. I'll follow you.
I think it's glad, probably for the best, that they didn't, and they've gone with AKs instead. There's the op for 20. That's not surprising.
Yeah, I mean, that round there was a bit of a shame. I was kind of hoping that Twiner would have just landed both the sprays in through the door. It looked like for a second he was going to get away with it. But it was picked up in the end by Dignitas. Now, with the AWP on Twiner, he's actually going to be taking this outside. Smokes go down, but this time they haven't created a wall. Means that Twiner actually going to go ahead and take this peek. Trying to spot out Fox, who's holding it more passively, waiting to see when they do emerge from behind red. Going to be held back with these flashes, and Existence just going to go charging on in like a raging bull already in the back line, looking to try and catch off Fox outside. He's not even prepared for this aggression. Doesn't matter because he will go down. Now spotted from heaven, Rubino doesn't get any work done. Instead, going to be put to bed by Existence. A two-man advantage taken, outside control going all the way of LDLC. And Tensky, I was going to say was able to trade that one out, but it was Jacob beating him to it. Turning his attention now back over here towards A, just pivoting back and forth on the spot. Dancing around for his life, but he's going to still remain, making this difficult, making it competitive. Goes ahead and takes a second, but now in the 1v3, he's still going. There's no stopping him. He's going to go ahead and get himself the triple. As now Alex and Misto, all that remain, Alex up on top of the rafters, worked himself into an offensive position on the site. Trying to protect this one. Jacob going in for the spray, going to be tagged down low, caught with the nade out, still somehow alive. But only by the skin of his teeth. Bomb ticking away. Jacob. I mean, he thinks it's A, I think.
Well, it's not that he thinks it's safe. There's no way to escape the site. Exactly. Yeah. He's got to fight Alex. 4 kills for Jacob. He pulls this. Oh, that's so close. 18. He takes a tick. Backs out of it. Making a lot of noise, but he's got to use the time. He's going to go in, try and spot. Back exposed. Miss2 saves it. One way to make it costly in what's going to now be a 5-round reset. So bomb plant, but look at the investment that comes out of it. That's huge. I mean, those kills alone are huge. From Jacob. What a game he's having, up to 16 kills, but it's much better from LDLC. With the money, they finally get into a position that should have been much more attainable than that. It goes to show you, again, though, get the utility, get the sites, all is well, but then you cannot win the duels as soon as Jacob gets going. Tough battle. 6 rounds, though, LDLC. Still in a good position, all things considered. Back to AKs again this time. No op for Twanu, and it's a little bit quicker. Try and get out toward outside with 4 players, but aggressive smokes from the CT side is going to hinder them, and they're not willing to push through that at all, so they'll slow the pace entirely. And Fox, again, with the AWP, has gone back to the ramp side. We haven't seen him here since very early in the half. Ooh, this is decent. Self-designed smoke early. No way they expect it, and the smoke's there. He can escape, get away, no problem. I love it. Brilliant. I love that Fox is back to this aggressive style.
Yeah, they've already gone ahead. Taking that early man advantage. Fox living up to the animal he's named after. Just waltzing on in there through the shrouded mist in the darkness, claims a frag and then gets the hell out. Man advantage secured, nothing in return here for LDLC. Gonna turn their attention instead towards outside. 3 players here with Maniac left over towards A, and actually Jacob in a great spot to try and shut this down. Does find damage, but is gonna be dropped on this push. Now the remaining 3 players looking to try and charge in towards B. The rotate's already come through, but they could still duck up vents. There's a player left on A to deal with exactly this. It looks like they're going to go ahead and dedicate out towards B. They have to be wary, though, because Croman waits for them in the site.
Rubino. It's Alex immediately, but Twanu able to pull that back. Miss2. Pushed through. Had to be after the orange box as Rubino greets him. Not exactly the friendliest greeting. Remember what we said about that 6-round reset, about the round Jacob had? This would have been a full buy, regardless of the fact that they won one of a reset if all 5 had stayed alive. The fact he got those 4 kills puts them in a really tight position, and Dignitas has a chance to ultimately go 8-6 for sure, and 9-6 overall in the half still. Which, considering this was 5-1, and Team LDLC were winning all the important rounds at the start, isn't exactly a huge accomplishment, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, Dignitas go and take, what, 6 out of the last 7 rounds now from LDLC. This one was looking like it was going to be fast, but those Molotovs completely delay this play. They will be held back. Existence actually worming his way through outside. They're going to get punished for it. Jacob will go down. Now they look to pounce on out. A lot of work here for Rubino. He's fully flashed. Only manages to get one. Croman falling within the site. And this one, the fast round from LDLC, going to be working brilliantly now. Tensky and Fox left to try and retake this. Fox going to be spotted. Tensky coming on in from behind. Fox taking these peeks. Tensky able to find one. He's still got a lot of work left to do as he spots out a second player within the site. Fox going to fall. It's now all resting on Tensky's shoulders. Peeks on in, but Misto, no problem for him. Shuts them down, gets himself the easy triple. And now LDLC, they're going to find themselves on 7, which quite the accomplishment considering their buy up into that round.
Yeah, that's actually perfect. That gets them right back into it and avoids everything I was talking about economy. So Dignitas get caught off a little bit by the fast pace. LDLC going toward the upper site quite quickly, convincingly. A lot of outside play. Last time they went fast, they put the smokes down. This time, change it up entirely. Resistance making some calls on the fly that are working out, but 7-7. They've done enough on the T side. I really like the fast-paced call they made when they had the pistols last time to get lower. Not overall impressed with the T-sided opping that they've had in this game. They've certainly been better off when the rifles are out. Twanu this time does have the op. He's already with bomb, trying to work around red crate existences as well. They're going to take over and potentially, ooh, good push Tensky with the pistol. I was going to say try and wrap onto the upper site, but losing a player in lobby already is going to be pretty problematic. And Fox is able to slip up. They're getting caught off at every point.
Yeah, worst thing is that's bomb dropped outside. They are going to be able to pick it up, no problem. But now they have the info as to where LDLC just had this bomb. They know that there's players outside. There has to be. They've also managed to grab themselves the 2-man advantage. Tensky going to be on that M4. At this point, the bomb actually rerouting around over towards Hell. Curious to see how they approach this now. You can see it's actually to go up. Look to join Alex up here on Rafters. Try and come in from heaven. They have to watch out because the push could come in from Secret. Looks to be the case as Fox coming up behind. Tensky holding the angle, able to find one. Still has work left to do. Existence contemplating his own existence, I think, as the existential crisis sets in, does go down there at the end of round that really they had no business losing, just torn apart from them.
Yeah, you do such good work in the previous round, and then you get picked off from 2 pushes from pistols
taste
that
of their
were
own
not
medicine.
traded. Yeah, that just undoes everything, if you will. But 8-7, look, it's still a good scoreline. The start was great. They got the pistol. They got the second gun round after essentially a reset, which is in some ways better than winning out the first gun round and then losing the next themselves and being reset on their own. So they did everything in the right order in that sense to get a good start. But thankfully they had a good start because things weren't exactly convincing when the rifles did come out. Pistol round. 2 P2000s. I've seen a lot more P2000s again lately. I think Guardian still uses one, or pretty much always had, but a lot more people are bringing that weapon back out. So 2 flashes for Rubino and a Molotov. Maniac's already slowed this down ever so slightly by getting the early pick, but look for the Molotov to drop on Hut and the flashes to go in. They're actually going to cover off Raptors instead. That allows an immediate entrance from Kroman with the bomb, but he's dropped it. Tensky's got the knife on Twanu. Give him the money, honey. A retake in from upper with the bomb still down inside of the site. Jacob's fallen and Tensky's low, so low that it only takes a shot in the kneecap. He used to be a valiant battler like you, and he took a bullet in the knee. Rubino trying to flank out. Maniac's got the shot. They do well to hold on to that, considering the Molotov on the rafters.
I can't believe you slipped that in. I mean, it's not.
I mean, they've only just released like the 8th version of Skyrim, which includes Link from Zelda, which is cross-promotion. I mean, whatever, they deserve it. I'm bringing it to CSGO. That's the next one. Skyrim was CSGO. That'll be the 18th release of that game.
I'm looking forward to you get to be the Dovahkiin in on CS.
Eventually, they're going to make that guy a playable character, and they're going to go through his storyline where he took the arrow in the knee, and you're going to realize it never happened, and he's actually just full of shit. So it's all a myth. If you thought the cake was a lie, wait until that myth gets spoiled.
I mean, yeah, there's truly no filter on the things that you come out with. I mean, in all honesty, I admire the kind of. I mean, that's theory crafting, right? What you just did there, that's fantastic. That's what the people want.
It's actually gold. It's gold. That's all Bethesda. I got it right there. That's all they need to do. Just make that idea, and I've made them $1 million.
That's actually, I don't think that's that much. Or is it?
It's probably not that much.
Yeah, I didn't, okay, well.
Maybe profit, it's a lot.
Okay,
revenue, not so much.
Right. Well, look, speaking of profit and revenue, with what little revenue Dignitas are able to get, they have gone for the Force. AK up on Jacob. He's going to be the lone rifler, which is cool a title as it is, isn't fantastic if you are Dignitas. They try and turn their attention now down towards the B-bomb site. Misto, the one with the UMP, trying to hold back the tide of Dignitas players about to come pouring on in, able to find the burst, still got some work left to do, and Jacob will shut him down with that solitary AK. Now, the rotate coming in from Alex, going to be over towards Vent. Just going to go straight in towards B, not wasting any time. No faffing around. Here's the players down beneath him. Knows he has to keep his wits about him. Players already rotated on, and you can see Dignitas, I mean, they're looking hesitant about actually continuing in with this one. They know that they've allowed plenty of time for the rotates to come in. And if you've already got players within the site, it is a very tricky one to actually get the entries for. Saying that, Twano going to be tagged down low. Alex dropping out Fox, making this B site looking a hell of a lot less tempting. They're actually going to now try and change it with wind in their sails out towards A. Croman with the drive-by able to drop out Alex. Twano hits the deck, and now Maniac and Existence suddenly find themselves near 2-on-3. All their teammates going down around them. Existence going to take one to the dome, and Maniac finished off. That is a round taken straight back by Dignitas.
Remember what we were saying about mistakes and LDLC having to play a perfect game? They've done many things right and so many things wrong. Starting with the first gun, that flash off where 20 got caught. And this one, another round they should have capitalized on. They should have had the 8-7 going into this. Win the pistol, potentially go up to an 11-7 score, be in a great spot on the CT side. They're making this hard. Doing it the hard way. Let's just put it that way. Inside for the rifles this time. Fox and Tensky going to carry over the SMGs. Eagle armor. See if they get the read on rotations, if they actually overreact to the fact that Fox has gone down into secret, because there's nothing that suggests they're committing there. They've got the smokes out to at least show that they're wanting to take outside, but with the rifles, the better call is to actually hold up as they are and try and win duels on rotations. They've got the thing with outside, if you have so much map control at that corner, you are forcing the CTs to have to move.
Yeah.
And as soon as you make them move on nuke, you actually, it favors the Ts in so many ways, because you can hold off these positions outside where you're going to catch them trying to peek out with pistols, especially in this round. And even if they go downstairs, as soon as they're off key on the bottom, it's so much harder to retake the upper site, so you can start to exploit that. So good kill from 20, all things considered, but really good play from Dignitas to slow it down.
No.
Even better.
Yeah, no, they go ahead and lose Maniac, and that was kind of their last bastion of hope shining through towards outside. Now it's Alex inside of A, and, well, saying that, Tensky, he just hates these guys. Walks on in, finds them both, gets the nice easy double, farms up some cash in the process, $1,200 made on the back of his shiny UMP. LDLC still with no money in the coffers. Just going to have to relinquish yet another round the way of Dignitas, and that's going to pull it through to an 11-8 scoreline before LDLC even get a buy on the board.
Especially with the force out of pistols and armor. 2K, they'll get a third round loss bonus, 2,900. That'll be fine. Twanu as well could actually get out the AWP in the next round, which is decent for the CT side to start off. Fox goes down, traded back. They're trying to stack up the outside position this time because they know it's very likely they're going to try and take the weapons to win the duel. So good read. Fortunately, it is still weapons versus pistols at a relatively long range. Jacob. What have you done? Either way, round over.
Yeah, Jacob.exe is just not responding anymore. But yeah, there we go. Alex is going to go down. Jacob finally actually going to claim that revenge. Wants to try and remedy the fact that he missed the whole spray with the AK on a player with 15 HP, and he does so. So Dignitas now in with 11. The buy going to come from LDLC. Twano going to have that AWP. Now, this is the thing I was looking forward to, right? I think Twano, in my opinion, is sort of the definition of the CT side AWPer. He's someone who can take that aggression, but really he benefits from kind of holding these fixed angles and then just kind of re-peaking from that. Even then, I mean, I wouldn't really describe him as someone who's the most dynamic of AWPers, you know, in comparison to a lot of what we see kind of being the more in-fashion way to play with the AWP. He does like to stay fairly mobile, but usually within kind of the same regions of the map. And well, from Dignitas this time, we got 3 players over here towards ramp. They're going to be holding for any sort of aggression out from LDLC. They know they have these rifles in play. Secondary smoke going to go down over here at ramp, and that does hold them back for the time being, but they look like they just want to go straight on through. Maniac has to step up. Doesn't connect anything, just going to opt to fade away in towards B. Twano goes down with the AWP to a UMP. And now Maniac just trying to hold back this push. Doesn't get any work done. Actually going to get shot so hard he falls through the map, and now the bomb going on down. Alex and Misto here already. Alex going to watch his teammate just get slaughtered before his very eyes. Now he has to step up in a very big way. 1v5. struggling to stay alive, and Fox will put him out of his misery.
Dignitas is going to batter them. They're hitting shots
Yeah.
so well right now. There's LDLC.
They are feeling it.
We talked about this. Utility on T-side was going to be everything to win them the game. They did great. They obviously like this map because of their T-side is encouraging, and oftentimes many teams think that, you know, because this was such a CT-sided map, they get led into that security of, you know, if we're good on the T-side of this map, that's it. That's the upper hand. That's all we need. Well, right now in the current map as it is, you need a CT side. You need to have very good rotations.
100%.
And you need to know how and when to lock out the T side. And they're struggling to do that early, which is discouraging because, as I said, as soon as you give them ground to take the duels, they're going to just batter them. Similar to what they did on the T side of Cash. Take him again. Look at the confidence. No smoke. They're just running out. Pistols, granted, sure. But many teams wouldn't be this aggressive against an eco in CSGO as we know it. And they've got so much confidence on the Dignitas side right now.
Yeah, there's no stopping these guys within the site. It's all on Maniac. Might want to deny the plant, do some damage. Actually, the bomb gets dropped. Works his way back towards Hut, claims himself a second. Okay, he's going to make this costly, makes things interesting, but doubles back. Tries to secure himself the AK. And ultimately, it was greed that toppled LDLC in that one. That and the fact he didn't have any ammo. But cooler storyline if you say it was greed. Yeah, that is going to be the 13-8 scoreline. And at this point, pause called in. Reckon it's going to be LDLC, what with them being so far behind on their map choice. The second map in this best of 3. Dignitas already being 1-0 up and having this commanding lead over on their T side. And, you know, you can kind of tell when teams get in that mindset where they're hitting their shots, they're feeling confident, that's when they're at their most deadly. And that's why we see these teams that, you know, are very sort of empowered with the kind of emotions. Oh, is it tactical? Or?
This should be a tactical.
Okay.
Yeah, it says tactical LDLC on the screen, but I was counting back because we've had I think 5 or 6 pauses, so I was trying to ask who would be in charge of which. But
yeah,
I'm trying to keep track of things, but when I don't, I try and ask production, and then they bail me out, and then I act like I know what I'm talking about. That's the secret.
That's the smart way.
Secret. Unless it's Tom Eric, in which case he'll tell you that if SK wins, Fnatic is through, and it's all wrong. So LDLC has used 3 technical, and Dignitas has used 2, so it's been 5. I thought it was 6, but it's 5. So fair enough. So 1 left for LDLC to use, which they may have to if things keep going this way. But they've got guns out again. Twanu this time, smoked off entirely, has to concede the fact they've gone outer, but there's a rotation from Existence. Twanu, good position down below. As he reads it, I take the mistake on that. I thought he was actually outside toward Big Garage when I looked in the minimap. He'd already rotated down, which is a really good read on the AWP. So well struck from LDLC, realizing that outer has been the weakness. It's a gamble of the adjustment, but they make it work.
Yeah, and this is LDLC stepping up in a big way. It does all fall onto Rubino. 1v5. He's looking to try and make some magic happen. Sneaker line in here actually towards A, and the site going to be barren and empty. And he will just be allowed to slip on by player over in Hut. Will here, it takes the peek, but Alex going to go in over his head, and as a result, will lose it. Existence now trying to come round to remedy this affliction. Here's the player already out on the site, tries to take the peek, but missed Stowe. We'll be able to drop him out. LDLC go ahead and take one back. Dignitas not out of the woods just yet, and they're going to be quick to realize that now as LDLC look to try and close this gap.
So good call on the adjustment. I imagine the timeout. Existence is usually pretty good at counter-reading opponents. So, getting the op down below to cover off the fact that they've been going secret, it's one way to do things. Now, how quickly is Dignitas deterred from outer? Because based on shots alone, that's where their best chance of winning duels is. If they start getting funneled into choke points such as ramp, they could have more problems. 20 this time, goes outside immediately. Smokes go back down. Not as much aggression to get around the corner, but Jacob wants to just try and slip up. Potentially work in toward a main. Good Molotov. Missed shot 20. That was a good chance to try and strike through it. Goes back around, misses another, and they've lost Existence. This is a massive problem because he's gone down. Once again, Dignitas have done enough to win the round already.
Yeah, Alex tries to turn the situation around, but there's just too many players to deal with. Maniac on the flank, able to dispatch one more, puts it into the 1v3, but at this point, cool to save, just going to come in. If they do save up this rifle, they could actually go for the buy in the next round, which I imagine is what we would see them do anyway. Maniac, fairly pivotal that they hold on to this rifle here. Dignitas, not really with too much money. I imagine we might see them go hunting, but they want to try and remain wary. I mean, they had to learn that they're not invulnerable and this T-side isn't impenetrable as they did go ahead and lose that last round. They take one straight back, though, and that's why LDLC's money isn't going to be looking too great and why saving this M4 is so damn important. That round just all kind of falls apart, and Twano missing a lot of opportunities towards outside. I think I counted 4 shots there that he missed with that AWP, which even if he hit half, you know, we could have seen a completely different storyline in that round. It's going to be the case that Dignitas now 1 round away from map and series point, 14 to 9. And now I'm curious to see what LDLC are going to do. I mean, this is, what, their last pause, I'm fairly certain. So they're going to try and come to a decision. Do they go for the force now, or do they play for the overtime?
Pick your poison. I mean, Maniac has gone full buy. This is going to be the force. Has to be. Is Maniac's... Did my overlay update? Do I have the HUD glitch?
No, Maniac has saved from the previous round.
Okay. I was going to say.
There you go.
What was throwing me off is that he had full utility. So he bought utility, but not actually purchased.
It's all
so
good.
He threw
it's
over the
good.
AWP. So that, the fact that he's got that much money, they're obviously going to force into it. But that means you're right. They're playing to win. They're playing to shut them down now. If Dignitas hits map point, it will be the 2-0.
Yeah. Now I've actually got enough to get to Tuano up on the orb. 2 UMPs split between Alex and Misto, the famous for existence. Bit of a buy that they've been able to cobble together what they can. And well, Dignitas, no hold bars, aggression out here towards Tuano, and a great spot to put a stop to this. Actually, damage done. Gonna go ahead and peek in towards the site, and actually, LDLC looking phenomenal. Chroman all that remains, looking to try and make things a little bit more spicy, but existence, not a fan of spice, shuts that one down.
Yep. LDLC seems to be very good at holding the upper site because Dignitas has tried to go fast twice in that direction. They get caught out. So much money on the Dignitas side there. They can afford to take the risk. Money still relatively low on the LDLC side. They've got themselves in a position where they should be able to force up in the next a little bit more effectively than had they lost that one. They're still in the same fighting position, closing the gap to 4, both into double digits. Full smokes for Dignitas, and again, they'll start to deploy those outside where Tuanu's heading with the AWP.
Yeah, I'm already going to be towards that side, taking this a little bit more aggressively this time. On Tuano, Tensky's been allowed to just worm his way in through vents. He's very low on HP, but having him already in the B-bomb site leaves LDLC with so much to worry about. Tuano holding any sort of aggression outside. Doesn't look to be where Dignitas are focusing just yet. Bomb is going to be dropped there. Now, I've got players trying to spot things out, but ultimately I think they're going to rely on Tensky to try and open this round up. He's going to fall, and the man advantage taken here for LDLC, and that's kind of the disadvantage of having a player work your way to the back line like that. He's gone down, no one there with any chance to trade, and now the man advantage secure for LDLC. Dignitas trying to claw their way back into this round.
Maniac boosted with existence on a cross. Good entry, but they don't know he's here. It should be the double. Misses the shot on Fox. That's going to open up some space, but the HP is low enough, and he's got to get the bomb. He's lucky to get back toward lobby. Very lucky when you consider the nade going in behind him.
Oh, but look at this from Jacob sneaking in from behind. Can make all the difference. Down goes Tuano. Spots out the remaining 2 players. Takes the peek on out, but no. Alex and Misto between them mop that round up and keep LDLC in this one, denying Dignitas that map point for the second time now. They've only got to do that 4 more times if they want to reach it themselves. And they're doing damage to the economy of Dignitas. The buy going to be coming on in, but it's the last one they can get for a couple of rounds. It's going to be the case that the buy from LDLC is going to have everything they would need. Rifles across the board, still up on Tuano. He's a little bit limited in terms of his utility, but everyone else looking fine. More than enough to compensate for that. And while 4 players early on outside here for Dig, they want to try and push on up. Just going to be sneaking on by. Wall of smokes has gone down. It will allow them safe passage. They look to try and make their way through. Tuano relinquishes control, gives this one up, and does concede outside the way of Dignitas for the time being. As now they sneak down over here towards B.
Maniac, good position. Set already. No one in the crossfire, the lethal crossfire. Maniac backing off. Exactly the moment when they walk around the corner. He had a better position. Now he's conceded it. He's going to go passive as well. The hesitation could cost him as Rubino gets him down. Thankfully, Tuanu's found a pick. Wide open plant. Smoke down. Makes them think he might be inside of it, so no one's going to spray into it. They get the open plant, and 20 on the AWP. Limited from the ramp room. Tries to get in position as Alex is the one to open it instead. Ramp and vent both blown out. Rubino already been found inside of that toxic position. They know he's there, gets aggressive. They've done very well in this retake. And LDLC, at this point, are going to break down the economy. Dignitas is going to be limited to the 14th round, and that is all. And they've got a real chance on the CT side now to actually push this to a win, not just to overtime.
Yeah, and Dignitas starting to look like one of these teams that are very heavily influenced by their emotions. That's kind of the impression you get, right? I mean, when we saw them on that tear where they were getting the rounds on the T side, doing phenomenally well, they looked unstoppable. And now that started to slow down, it's a question of can they remain resilient and carry this through. They only need 2 more rounds to close this out, but it's been a struggle getting them. Now their economy isn't looking too great. 3 players could afford to buy, but I imagine we're just going to see a bit of a partial down to about $2,000 worth of investment. And actually, Fox going to opt to fall by. Rubino hasn't. No one else on the team does, so they're going to go for the Catalyst Rifle up on Fox. It's a little bit risky. Does mean they're going to be limited into that next round just a little bit. Other than that, though, going to be interesting to see how they put this to work.
This is a good position to be in. Obviously, the call from Maniac to save is where this all starts. He sits at the start of the round with 4750, drops out an AWP, and has a bunch of utility carried over, as well as the M4. Without that force, we may not be in this position. Twanu misses a gap again, but a Molotov down. They have to push through to get into Secret, and a ton of damage done to Jacob already on the Tech 9. Not only that, the element of surprise gone. They've already got the rotation down into the crossfire angle. It's Miss2 and Maniac. This crossfire is about as good as you can get in the entire game. 2 headshot positions, both easy to fall off of. It literally is walking into a slaughter.
Oh, and here we go. The slaughterhouse is in, and Maniac's the butcher. Going to go ahead and take himself 3. Misto chiming in 1 on the nade, and now it's all Fox, the man with the Catalyst Rifle. Spots out 1. Oh, that doesn't inspire confidence. Took him a while to deal with Twano. It's actually the AWP if he wants to try and pick that up and just look to save. Would allow that a little bit more firepower in the next round. He's made his way down over here towards B. LDLC do have the bomb in their control. There's players flanking on round from behind as well. Alex looking to try and come on in. So many angles to clear here in this B-bomb site. First going to peek on out up towards ramp. Wary that someone could have worked their way into the backlines. And that man is Alex, but he's playing it passive. Not going to elect to take the peek until Fox has been spotted inside of B. Maniac, the first man he contends with, goes ahead and spots him out. Now the peek comes in from Vents. He's going to get caught unaware, and Misto will shut him down. LDLC now 1 round away from equalizing this out.
Good comeback. Timely comeback. Guns up this time for Dignitas, and I'm starting to wonder if the confidence is still going to exist. They'll go for the fast play or not, because LDLC has figured out how to rotate correctly into lower and shut them down. But the thing is, typically when you start to get these adaptations, you start to focus on these secret positions, you give up a little bit more at ramp. But because Dignitas hasn't gone to ramp pretty much at all in this entire half, you can't really risk it this late in the game. If they were on 15 rounds, okay, maybe you could throw it in, but where they're on 14, they're limited with money. If they go that way and they get it all wrong, they start playing into the strength of LDLC. They pretty much give the game away in itself. So the fact they've got to go outer again means that LDLC should be ready for it. But it's Rubino that starts off well, goes into the site. Alex spotted 20 to the pistol instead of the op. Existence is done well, planting the smoke. 3 versus 2, no plant at all. This is going to be tie game, and LDLC could actually steal this back. Great change of pace from them.
Looks like it kind of took Jacobs a little bit too long to get off the ladder there. Will fall, and yeah, tie game 14-14, as you said. Momentum was heavily in favor of Dignitas, and now that kind of confidence has spiraled on out of control, and they've kind of lost a lot of control. It seemed like they were the one forcing LDLC's hand, and now it's much the other way around. I mean, we've seen them try and figure out where it is they have to go, and time again, they just get shut down.
Other issue with not getting that bomb plant in is that they'll be limited for utility ever so slightly on the terrorist side right now. So this is timeout number 3 for Dignitas. Full kits, full nades, full everything for LDLC, which is perfect for the type of team they are. Have they exhausted outside is the call that Dignitas needs to be aware of, and they're going to go toward SMGs to get more utility up. We saw on the pistol, specifically, that they like to throw the nades through Molotov the upper rafters. I'm wondering if they can get something in toward heaven and try and take upper. They've failed twice with no utility on a fast plays. Maybe it's time to give up on outer and try and push in. There we go. Everything's back. Maniac's going to back off as well at ramp. This is the call instead. So as I was saying in the previous round, they've really yet to go ramp. So this is really trial by fire, and the fire is hot. Existence and Maniac both ready for it, and LDLC finds map point. No money left. on the Dignitas side. They will get a max round bonus. 6 rounds they are at, but effectively that's all they had to work with.
And this is looking like LDLC might just be able to walk across the line with this one. Dignitas now competing for that match. Sorry, for overtime. What am I on about? LDLC, they're going to be the ones to arrive at map point, despite Dignitas just kind of hovering 1 round before it now for the last 4 rounds. The LDLC having that comeback. Got the AWP onto Wano. The buy going to be coming in from Dignitas. Leaves them with very little in the way of utility. Fox trying to spot outside. They're just going to go rushing on out towards A. Tensky trying to vent dive, punished by Alex. His body does make it down, but nothing else does. As he falls early on, Fox now ducking in through Secret, has been allowed to sneak on by. Twano going to be holding the angle with the AWP, peeks on out, and Fox goes down. LDLC so close to closing this one out. They can almost taste that existence. A man of great taste wants to try and edge them across, gets the double, leaving this all on Croman. 1v5, bomb in hand. Minute and 18 left, but walking on out into the waiting arms of Alex. He will be put to bed. LDLC win that one out against all odds. A very nice comeback there towards the end.
Really good adaptations to shut down Outer, and because of Dignitas winning there so many times, they've almost become a victim of their own success in that they never really explored other territory on the map. They weren't relying on execution, they were relying on duels, which eventually got shut down. So then what do they do in the last 2 rounds? They go to ramp, which they hadn't gone to at all. Maniac predicts it gets set for a crossfire with existence on an aggressive play. And then they go for event dive, which is the most classic strat in the world, but it's so old school, and they never really worked those choke points correctly. So obviously they were a little bit shallow in depth and were relying on the skill. Nearly got away with it, but good call from existence to adapt, and the force buy obviously paying off. You were saying, should they force here play for overtime?
Yeah.
Well, clearly forcing it and getting 7 rounds in a row works. So I'm impressed. I'm happy to see LDLC win that back, because it would have been shocking to see them go out in this. Obviously, they didn't go out in last place in this group. That would have been even worse. It is a battle against Dignitas, but they are the structured team that I actually predicted to go out first in this group, first overall into the playoffs rather than first home. Just to clarify. So now we've got a real game on our hands. And we go to Inferno, where they won against Dignitas quite convincingly earlier.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
something in that.
We can mull this over as much as we like. We're going to go over to people who are a little bit more qualified to talk about this. We'll be back very shortly with Inferno.
Well, you can't be talking about me, that's for sure. Luckily, we've got Henry G and Thorin here, because we are headed towards a 3rd map, and I know just how thrilled both of our men are.
Plus, what's he doing there? Like, what do you mean we'll be back very short? You said that before the break, so that people come right back. You're implying that people are going to stop watching now.
Well, they do. They turn off at this point.
I don't know about that.
We're just a filler, aren't we?
No,
hold on.
I'll turn
They're
people
the filler.
on. Yeah, exactly.
They're the filler for us.
Exactly.
Back with it. Impressive from LDLC. What a great comeback. I mean, Dignitas has 2 rounds away, and they're in the top 4.
I'll agree with you. It was impressive for LDLC, but I'm almost more impressed with Dignitas dropping off so significantly. You can see how limited they were on the T side of Nuke. They had that one strategy, the small smoke outside. I thought, oh, this is the first gun. I thought, oh, we've got something here. We've got some tactics. Here we go.
Back from 2009.
We thought the fast smokes had dropped. Okay, those are quite difficult to deploy. It's quite intricate. And it was working for a few rounds. They're winning duels, and then you could see LDLC up against the ropes. Thought, okay, they'll probably outskill them here. Dignitas looking comfortable. Then as soon as they got that big force buy, that was LDLC.
Yeah, that force buy was incredible.
Famus's, UMPs, and I think the one AWP as well. They managed to win that, and then at that point they adjusted. They had players going towards Secret at the start and actually shutting that down. The Molotovs were great, and Dignitas didn't have anything else to fall back onto. They were just completely limited.
I mean,
fair play to LDLC.
You mentioned it before, Duncan. The force buy. We haven't seen them with too many force buys. They didn't seem that confident with them. Then they get to a tactical pause. They have to make a decision now. If we save now, okay, we lose a 15th round, then we've got to defend all the way up to get overtime. If we partial buy here, we might be able to win this, and then we screw their money as well, and we've got a shot of winning the whole game. And they take that risk.
Well, the thing for me is it's a very special circumstance. Like, for a start off, you're on CT side of Nuke. You know you can get a roll going there. Secondly, you're against a team who's clearly not good on T side. As Henry's saying, they're somewhat tapped out in terms of what they can do. So if you can stop this, maybe that's it from them, you know. And then, it does take a few heroic stands, you know, a bit of individual play. Yep. But I mean, the interesting part about this match is everyone's going to remember the end of it, but that's an example on the first half there of the good and the bad of LDLC, because that was a fantastic T side. Yeah, like the tactics they had,
I'm not sure about that
they had.
Tensky, but whatever.
That was pretty terrible. They had some fantastic approaches to it. You can see why it's their best map, but at the same time, why didn't they come away with 11, 12 rounds? Because post-plant situations still let them down.
I like their approach, absolutely right. It's quite like avant-garde in terms of the way it's being played on the T side, absolutely. Like, no one else plays it like that at the moment. They're opting for a fast pick, primarily towards ramp, which makes a lot of sense, right? There's normally just one CT player there, right? If they can get that pick, Existence is committing all in. He's saying everyone down towards lower straight away.
Yep.
And then they're getting down there. And the good thing about this situation in Nuke as well, not many teams have gotten onto this. If you can get towards lower quickly, there's only one CT entrance down the vent hand side. So one Molotov neutralizes that. CTs then, their options are go towards decon and come around the window side. And you're already planting the bomb. So many strong post-bomb positions. But as Duncan said, that seems to be the downfall for LDLC at this point. Sure, they can get the bomb down, but then it comes to actually winning the round in terms of the one-on-one duels. Dignitas seem to have them beat at that point. But they still got a decent amount of rounds on the board. They did it. They did win round number 2. You did say it was going to happen.
Yep.
You're
And
always
there
right,
was a
Duncan.
nice,
That's the problem.
2007 London Mint CS Source strat in there.
Was that? I'm trying to think of it.
He's reaching into his grab
the
bag.
vent
dive.
dive. That's true.
Yeah.
That's the round that lost Dignitas the game. So, don't bring that up.
Executed
No,
perfectly.
Yeah.
Just like we used to
Just
do it
like
back
it
in the old
was
days.
back in the old days.
I walked
Indeed.
into that, didn't I?
Notable performances for you in this one from players?
Okay, so on both sides, I'll actually go ahead and say that on this one, like obviously towards the end there, Maniac had some huge holds. Like some of those, like one of them towards the end as well. Like even though they're against pistols and half buys and stuff, like he's a player where normally you'd expect he will get overwhelmed eventually. They'll get a gun off him, but he was able to do full holds. In terms of a big one for the game, when you consider how close it was actually Fox not being as good as he had been. He'd been so good for the rest of the tournament. He's probably the best player for the team thus far. But on this map, Nuke, it's hard to get an AWP working on this map traditionally. And obviously, because they don't play the map, he looked really out of sorts when he had the AWP on CT side. Couldn't really get anything done, and that kind of put them 4v5 a lot, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lost them a few rounds that perhaps they should have taken as well. That could have made all the difference as well, couldn't it, in that first half?
Absolutely. T-side AWPing a Nuke, it's not recommended, and Fox seems to be in this mentality right now that he has to be AWPing. He can't really fall back to the rifles, right? So he's so tunnel vision on that. Unless you have a really solid system, you're getting map control, slowly dissecting outside, then you can get picks, sure. But just that one smoke strategy wasn't bringing that towards him, and I feel like Fox dropped off significantly. As Duncan said, best player in the tournament for them so far. He was bottom both halves easily there. So that was a shame to see, but I guess we're excited for the third map now, Paul. This is
we
looking
are.
quite good.
We're going to move towards the third map very shortly. Before we do that, why don't we check in with the in-game leader, Rubino, before he entered the EU minor with his expectations on what his team could achieve.
We prepared on this minor with just playing online